So what do you want us to do?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to,
What shall I say? The way I came to the United States?
well, I don't know. I want to sort of, do you want to do this together or do you want to,
No, separate.
separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't want to do anything.
No,
to do
he
with it.
talk to Grandpa first.
No,
Sure.
no, yeah, you can
Yeah.
talk to you
You
first.
want me to tell you the way I came to the United States, Susanna?
Well, can you start at the beginning? I'd like to hear a little bit about your childhood, Grandma.
About my what?
Your childhood. I want to hear
Oh,
about
the childhood
Yeah.
wasn't so great.
Oh, well, then tell it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, the childhood wasn't so great because I was the third one, two older brother, and I was the third one, the older sister, and I had to help a lot my mother because, in Russia is not like in the United States. To provide for food, you have every day no refrigeration, every day you shop, and every day you do. So actually, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I was already my mother to help with 7 people to wash by hand clothes, to wash floors at night, they should dry in the morning. And actually I didn't have such a nice youth, but I didn't feel bad. Nobody exploited me. I had to do that because nobody else. And my sister was 7 years younger. Then came my brother, so she was actually a little baby.
The boys weren't expected to help at all?
Well, they helped, but in a different way. They used to carry water, to bring water. I mean, we didn't have running water. We didn't have refrigeration. When we lived in a suburban or a small town in Ukraine, not far from Kiev. So we lived till 1931 or 1932. And in 1932, my father was like a petit bourgeois. He was a shoemaker, and he had 3 people working for him. And the government put so many taxes, high taxes, that he couldn't, because they wanted, in Russia they call it раскулачивание. That means they didn't want to, like, he exploit the people.
Disownment of capitalists.
Yeah, they didn't want him.
Disownment of capitalists.
Yeah, so they put, the taxes were so high that he couldn't afford. We had to pay everything, and even we had a grandfather's clock they took away for the taxes, an unfinished shoe. He used to make the shoe from scratch, not just fixing shoe, but from scratch.
Yeah.
So they took everything away, and he started working in a factory, and then we moved to Kiev. When we moved to Kiev, by that time I finished the 10th grade, and I went to a technicum, a 4-year technicum.
Grandma, so you went to school even though you worked so hard with your mother? You went
Yeah,
to school?
sure. I went to school. I wasn't the only one. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it's something wrong. Maybe
Yeah.
now I feel it was wrong because I didn't have a youth. But that time I had to help my mother. Nobody else could help her.
Yeah.
And then when I finished the 10th grade, that time Kiev was the capital of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And no, Kharkov was the capital of Ukraine. Then they made Kiev the capital of Ukraine. So they moved a lot of students from Kiev to Kharkov in order to get more buildings, you understand?
Right.
So then I went, that time was in 1933 or 34, I think. I was in Kharkov for 4 years as in a technicum. A technicum is not is like in Russia. After the technicum, you only go to college. But technicum gets out with a profession.
It's a professional school.
A professional school. So I was like a planovik economist, or I don't know what you can in English. They made a plan. Russia was a different system. You had to make the plan ahead of the time, a year ahead of the time. What will be produced next time? It doesn't matter, what produced. They produced even you need it or you don't need it. They made a planning, Sometimes they produced only one size shoe, sometimes only one size garment. But you had to make the plan and calculating the prices. That's what I did, So, and this was still, so I finished. And in Russia, when you finish, they assign you. You have to go where they assigned you. They assigned me to go to Dnipropetrovsk, And when I came there, they didn't have enough work for me that they sent me to Nikopol. This was a small town. And I was in Nikopol almost till 1940. In 1940, because after I did 2 years or 3 years, I could go back. I went back to Kiev and find a job. I worked in an office till the war started. And when the war started, see, my two older brothers, one brother was already by that time married. I can't tell with all the details, but he married, he had twin guys. Those twin guys, which
I remember. What are your brothers' names? Could you name them?
When the older brother was Boris, the younger, the second was Misha, and I had one brother, Mitya, and the third brother died from TB, from tuberculosis. But the two older brothers, they were in the war, so they were killed in the war. The one which was married, we got even an announcement. The other one lived in Moscow. We never knew when he was killed and where he was killed, but we know he was killed in the war. We didn't even know he was married, but somebody told us he had a girlfriend with whom he lived for a long time in Moscow. When I was a young girl, I was visiting him. I was in Moscow visiting him for 10 days. So when then we closed, we lived that time in Kiev, just my father, my mother, and I, and my sister, which is 7 years Zhenya, you know.
I know, Zhenya.
So we locked the door, and each one took a little suitcase, and we thought tomorrow we're coming back. Of course not, because the war was closer to Kiev. And we went to the Dnieper, is a river, a big river, and there was a barge. A barge is like a platform, a barge. And they put us on this barge. We were on this barge for 30 days, various people. Every time we go farther, when the war comes, we go farther. Well, in short, we wind up, toward the end, we wind up in Central Asia, where we met my husband, your grandfather. This was already an end almost of 42. We were there at the end of 42.
Where did you end up? In Central Asia?
Yeah, Turkmenistan.
Turkmenia.
And the town is Tashaus.
Which was one of the 11 republics of the Soviet Union at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Asiatic republics were in Turkmenia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
Oh, yeah.
Turkmenia, Uzbekistan,
Tajikistan.
These were the 4 Asiatic republics in the Soviet Union.
Of center of the Asiatic part of Central.
Of the Asiatic part of the
Central
Soviet Union.
Asia. Your mother was born in Tashaus. And from Tashaus, we stayed during the whole war till 1945 in Tashaus. And then Grandpa will tell you his story, will come to it. He was always a big shot, your grandfather always was, he was a leader of the Patriots. And from there we went through Poland to Germany. And in Germany we stayed till 1949. And from 1949 we came back to the United States. In 1949, because I had an uncle here and he sent us, but we went through the Hayas anyway.
Where did you stay in Germany? I thought you came to the United States through Poland.
No, we went to Poland.
No, we stayed in Kassel. I mean, I was